PSLE Science, okay, and with Mr. Howard here. And I'm very, very excited because Mr. Howard has been my friend for some time, and he's really willing to share his knowledge, to all the parents and students who are in PSLE this year, right? So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, because just in case there are some may not know me, okay? So so I hope everybody is clear to see this slide. Okay, I'm Jasline here. Okay, I'm actually a study coach, and I'm actually Singapore's first tactical parenting strategies, and I have content on my YouTube channel. So I hope that y'all can have more content. You can go to look for me. I also have other PSLE topics there, as well as know how to motivate your children and other parenting topics as well. So I'm also on Facebook. You can find me on the Facebook as well. Okay, and also international speaker, and I also have online course creator. Okay, to me, I always believe there is a better way for parents. Instead of always doing the same thing, there's always a new way of looking at things and solving issues. I was also once like you, a professional, but now I know that I want to help parents. So I have 2 high achiever children. They are now all in integrated program schools, and I know the way to actually have successful children who are not only good in academics, they're also good in all areas. And that's how, with my 17 years of experience, I want to share with parents out here, right? And importantly, okay, this is my son, who actually achieved one of the top PSLE pupils when he was in PSLE in 2019. And it was also that luckily he was also able to get Science A-star. So I know that every parent here really wants a child to do well, especially in science, because it's a subject that everyone can slightly improve or improve to an AL1 grade, okay, if you do some right things. That's why we are having Mr. Howard here to share with us, okay? And importantly, what I do is I really want to help parents to optimize the learning for their children, to make your children actually transform to someone who can love learning, self-motivating, and forming good study habits. That's what I do. And stay till the end of our live. There will be tickets to my upcoming webinar, 3M System to Ace the Exams, for every one of you. And I'll also be giving a free trial of my masterclass for the first 3 that sign up for me today. And I will give you the link later on, right? And Mr. is going to share his strategies as well as the class that he'll be having that you need to grab the seats, okay? So that you can be on the track to getting AL1, right? Okay, so I'm going to just have a bit of a idea, for parents who may or may not be very familiar with the PSLE format, So importantly, for PSLE, there's 2 booklets, okay? Booklet A and booklet B. And the first one is the multiple choice question. There are actually 28 questions, and there will be 56 marks allocated for MCQ. And the second section is the open-ended question. There is about 12 to 13 questions, and it calls the marks is about 44 marks. So altogether, between multiple choice and open-ended is roughly about half, okay? And I know that for many parents and students, the open-ended question is a pain, right? That's why we are here to actually help parents and students to reduce the pains and understand how they can score better, right? And the duration of paper is about 1 hour and 45 minutes. All right, so let's have Mr. Howard here to share a little bit about himself. Yeah, Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Jasline. Good evening, parents and educators out there. I'm very thankful for tonight's opportunity that I can share some of my teaching experience and my passion in teaching science with every one of you. I will do a screen share. So,
yeah, maybe you could.
Can see the...
Yes, we can see. Yes.
Yes, yeah, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Then maybe you could also share with us a little bit about yourself and what you are so unique, compared to other science tutors.
Okay, for myself, I've been teaching science for close to 20 years. So I was a former PSLE science marker. I represented Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School. who's a SAP school in marking the PSLE on 3 consecutive years for Section B.
Wow.
Actually, the PSLE Section B is considered one of the most difficult PSLE paper to mark because of many varied answers that can be accepted. So I'm very thankful that I've marked the Section B at least 3 times as a PSLE marker.
Yes.
And through this exercise, actually, I gained insight of how to train students to give the right type of answers. So, and in my 6 years in Pei Hwa, I was also the science coordinator. There's been, for many of the schools enrichment activities, in past, right, they go to the zoo, the science center, bird park. I helped to in charge of whole school as a mega school. So it's P3 to P6, coordinating all the field trips for the student.
Yes.
So of course, as a coordinator myself, I also like to visit such trips
For myself,
because
I've
it
been science
increase the learning
have to in charge of whole school as a mega school. So it's
Sorry. Yeah.
There's a feedback behind. Is it your side or my side?
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, before COVID, I'm quite thankful that somebody introduced me to online coaching. So I'm very thankful that last year when COVID hit the world, I able to port over, I can say 90% of my students online. That's actually very fast within the first few weeks of COVID. In fact, I also help some tuition center who can't port over the student. I teach them how to use Zoom, so to buffer this period.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So other than that, I'm also trained in physical education, as you can see in my NTU cert there.
Okay.
So I'm trained in both PE and science. So in some of my science questions, as you know, P6 they learn about forces, right? Yeah. And also energy. So I integrate some of these sports and even drones into the questions to interest the student.
Wow, that's great.
So I was in the aided school for 6 years in the Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School. It's an enriching experience. After that, I was offered a job in the Shanghai International School. Okay, this school is quite unique because they use full Singapore syllabus. So I was there as the first HOD for science in a primary school division. So it's also a great learning experience for me to start things from scratch. Because before that, the school doesn't have a science HOD, as the school is actually, they start out quite small. So when I was employed by this organization, it's a great learning experience for myself. Yeah. So it's also in a foreign land. I'm able to experience the 4 season. Yeah.
I see.
So after that, I came back to Singapore. I began full-time coaching as a tutor. So you can see here, this is back in 2013, quite some time back. And most of these students are already in uni now.
Wow. It's quite a big class. Yeah. Even first year.
Yes. So I got some testimonial from this student who was actually in Anderson JC when she was in 2015.
Okay.
She actually came to my house for coaching now. So I tried to be patient to her, as she has written here, very patient, to help her to explain. And it's a great joy to see that she said that she able to do quite well. I think she meant for A star, for PSLE.
Wow, awesome. Yes, great.
Thank you. So today I just share with parents. Yeah, Jasline, you can continue.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to share our interesting 5 M's. Yeah.
Yes.
Then remember there is a very special mission you told me before that you can share with us why you teach science. Yeah.
Okay, as you know, I actually grew up in Singapore. As we know that Singapore, unlike many of these European countries or those with a strong history of arts, Singapore got no choice because of survival. We need to be very strong in sciences. Yeah. Then as I teach the student over years, one question that came to my mind is, how come Singapore have not developed any Nobel Prize winner or have any Nobel Prize laureate or Nobel laureate? So that stir my heart to perhaps to inspire them, because you need to start from young. Many of these great scientists, they start from young by developing a keen sense of observation and curiosity, so that as they progress to their youth and adult life, this stay with them. So I have this mission, prayerfully in my lifetime, I can help Singapore to nurture the first Nobel laureate.
Wow, that's why I say you must share the interesting, really very inspiring to have this mission. It's great, Mr. Yu.
Thank you.
Okay, the 5 M's. Yes.
Okay, so the 5 M's, firstly is man, which is I'm a dedicated tutor.
Okay.
And of course, every parent hope that they have a dedicated coach or tutor to coach their children. Secondly, is the material that I use. I develop my own curriculum with my own book. I published one book on science to help students answer Section B questions in particular. This is the major place of weakness where I can develop systematic way to help students to understand what the examiners want and what are the keywords to use, what are the key phrases to memorize, so that they can use the same concept in various situations. And thirdly, I use different apparatus, like you can see here. I'm teaching some concept on forces. So like I use even like drones, and the common one is magnetic set to teach magnetic forces. And different insect specimen to teach the variety and diversity of animals. So this is a drone set.
So your lessons are so interesting. I see as from the picture that the children are also having fun.
You must be engaging, especially when they learn science for the first time. Because once you make them love a subject, right, they will find it's not like a chore. It's a joy to go for his lesson. So I got one parent, although it's online, the parent just texted me a few days ago. He said, "Hey, my son like to enjoy your lesson." Actually, there's an online class.
Wow.
Through the discussion, the question, I talked to them about some real life situation. So this media also, parents can also ask their children to view my YouTube channel. So I have some interesting science video which I upload to my One Academy Science YouTube channel to fulfill my mission of inspiring children to love science. If they love science, naturally the results will improve.
Yes, please go and subscribe to Mr. Yu's YouTube channel to learn more about science in a more interesting way. I've also been watching the videos as well. Great. And to me, I just want to add that, to score AL1, right? It's not only just the strategies, which you're going to share. It's also the mindset, whether the child, is willing to do the little extra every single day, right, to get the results that he wants. Okay, so we are here to help, and we have the strategies to advise, and children and the parents can also follow. So are we in the next section?
Yes. Okay. So I encourage parents to subscribe to my One Academy Science. So firstly, as you know, MOE, they want the student to develop holistic learning. So I integrated my teaching methodology in sync with MOE's requirement. So I have developed my own so-called customized syllabus to merge the student into understanding and apply the various concepts. So for example, I give you one interesting idea of using drones, because I like to fly drones. So many children also like to fly drones. So using the drone, you can actually teach all this topic. Can you see here?
Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kill 7 birds with 1 stone.
Yes. So all these things are actually related to the drone, as long as you can give them the relationship. Because as they progress to higher level science, they need to see the relationship between, what's the relationship between this scientific concept with another one, how to link chemistry with biology, how to link chemistry with physics. So by using primary school syllabus, this forms a skeleton, the framework for them to build on higher level understanding.
It's really interesting.
Yes.
How to
And then on the emotional side, as parents, I'm a parent of 4 children. So my youngest actually just finished a PSLE last year. My oldest is actually in Pulau Tekong now, serving his national service. So I have seen my own children. I got 2 boys, 2 girls. So actually, I understand the children's need quite holistically with my own children, and also having taught many students over the past 20 plus years. So this one I can't overemphasize the psychological needs, the baseline. We need to let our child to feel safe, have a safe environment to study, and then they can progress upward naturally. So we need to make sure that they feel loved, they feel being encouraged, they feel being assured. And also I give parents with more than 1 child a special tip. If you have a second born, second child, the second born, through my years of experience and personal interaction, needs more affirmation. Needs more affirmation, especially if the second child is a girl. She needs more affirmation from the parent.
I see. So Mr. Yu, it reminds me of my 3M system, right? I focus so much on motivation, mindset, and methods. In studying, it's the same, right? We also need to motivate our children as well. So I hope you're still to the end of my life and you get to go to my masterclass for your child. All right? Okay. Let's continue.
Okay, sure. So for PSLE is very specific. Even for P5, because you see, for parents out there, I believe you may be a parent of P4 or P5 child. So it's never too early to start. You can start at P4 because P4 is actually the second tier of the lower primary science. Once you cross P4, you go to P5, it's called upper primary science. So for section B, the child needs to be very precise in giving precise scientific answer and demonstrate application. Okay. So the application concept is the focus. So for this aspect, the application of process skill, they need to apply scientific facts, concept, and principle to new situation. So this is the you can download from the MOE website or the SCAB to understand the framework of primary school syllabus. Today I want to highlight some of these skills from the top to the bottom. Is from the easiest to the most difficult. So that's why we focus in primary 3 and primary 4, ask the student to observe the insect, what you see, compare the differences between this animal and that animal. Okay, can you see comparing the second one?
Yes.
And then once they can compare, you ask them to classify. Okay, then we move on to P4 using our apparatus, measure the volume of water, measure the volume of the irregular solid. And then communication means the use of graphs and tables to extract the information from the graphs or table into written words. So they must be able to translate.
Interpret the graphs, read the graphs.
Yes. And then from here is very interesting. Inferring all the way downwards. This one is called higher level thinking, or HOT, higher order thinking skill. So from the result, what can you say? What can you predict? And then from this data, what can you analyze? Okay, you have seen some question they say, suggest what would happen, right?
Yes.
That's under generating possibility. Okay, generating possibility. So I tell students, this type of skill is actually very useful in real life. For example, now we are living in this current COVID pandemic, right? So there are a lot of generating possibility questions. What if, because now tomorrow Singapore will hit 76% full vaccination. So say, what if we will reach 80%? So maybe more opportunities for students to go to different places. The cinema will be open. So these are, I can connect the real life to what they are doing. So they find useful. They come to Mr. Yu lesson, not only learn science, but can also know about what is happening in the country.
Interesting. Yes, it's important to know what are all the criteria, for the science PSLE, so that you know what you are supposed to be learning and then doing and preparing.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
So this is, as you can see, this is a general, overall, I call the satellite view of all the topics tested from P3 to P6. Okay, you will notice, parents, I just want to give you one extra pointer. If your child is in P5, you got to spend extra effort. Because you can see actually P5, in terms of the topics coverage, right, it's more than P6. Okay, logically, it's this way. Because P6, they start in January. By now, actually, usually by May, they really finish the syllabus. Some schools even finish in April, they do the revision. But for P5, they teach until August or even September. Yeah,
that's right.
So if you're actually, I believe actually the P5 children, in terms of science, right, they actually need to learn more. Yeah. So I tell parents that if your child in P6, right, because some parents they come to me after P6 SA1 and they didn't do well. So actually I ask them how was your P5 SA2 result? Okay, most of the time, if they don't do well in P6 SA1, there's a very high chance they didn't do well in P5 SA2.
So it's like
P5 SA2 is actually the litmus test to see how well the child is prepared to take PSLE. The benchmark, it's a very good benchmark.
Correct.
And I tell the parents, because I have analyzed PSLE questions before over the years, you can do it also. You can buy the book and analyze, but if you buy my book, I already analyze for you.
Okay.
Okay, for PSLE, right, the question 65% to 70% are from P5, from P3 to P5. 65% of the weightage to 70%. So if you take one example, one child do very well in P5, actually the child ready to take PSLE and pass. Yeah, because he already secure 60 to 70% of the marks for science paper.
Wow, interesting insight. Okay.
So my objective is to help your child, perhaps those who are attending this workshop and sharing. I do a hypothesis. If your child is at AL3, my objective is to help your child to push up to AL2 or even AL1. We have about exactly 7 weeks left from today's sharing for them to take the PSLE Science paper, which is actually the last paper for those who are not taking higher mother tongue.
That's right.
For October.
Right. So yes, Mr. Yi, this is a very good slide to actually also share with parents who may not be so familiar. As you can see, the band for every AL1 is more than have to be 90, and the second is 85 to 89. So you only have about 5, 86, 87 to 89. So 5 marks for every band. So it's getting harder and harder and to achieve the higher levels. But that's why every mark counts. And for me, I'm a study coach as well. So I understand this is very important to tell the parents that we also need to work on the rest of the subjects as well. So if you need help about studies about your children, you can always look for me. Yeah, Mr. Yi knows me very well. Yeah. So can we move on? Yeah.
So this one you can also download from the MOE website about going to Express and NA. Okay, the reason I show this slide is because I have come across students who are late developers. So I give you one very good example. I have this student who was a P6 student. I coached him several years ago. He actually scored 185. So that will qualify him for NA. But from Sec 1 to Sec 2, he actually accelerated in learning. So by the time he reached actually Sec 4, he topped the whole school NA cohort.
Wow.
And he was given a place in doing aerospace in Singapore Poly. He was offered a scholarship there. And just 2 weeks ago, I contacted this boy, my former P6 boy. He said, Mr. Yu, I'm very happy that the SAF wants me. I'm joining the Air Force.
Wow. So prestigious, huh? Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so some children are late developers. So as parent, if your child is progressing at a slow rate, don't give them extra pressure to go express. Yeah, because some children, they are built to do at a slower pace because they are wired to develop at a later stage. But once they enjoy the subject, right, they will catch up a lot. Secondary school is more about independent learning.
That's right.
Yeah. So once they feel the energy, they will try their best to do. Okay, this chart actually is quite interesting. This table. Describe, explain, state. Okay, most students, they are weak in the explanation. So for explanation, usually is a 2-mark question in PSLE, open-ended, as well as P5. They are required to give reasons and make their explanation clear. Okay, for describe is slightly different. No reason needed. It's just like a narrative. Write what you see. Write what you observe. Okay, that's called describe. So like in this situation, they say describe how water was obtained, because this is a very commonly tested questions in P5 as well as P6 on water cycle. Talking about the heat causes the seawater to gain heat and evaporate. So you can see these are 3 different answers. Number 1, usually I ask the student or parent, because the question said describe, right? So I'll ask the student, hey, Mr. You ask your, if this answer is correct by evaporation and condensation, what would the question be? So the question would be, state the processes involved. Can you see the difference? Because it says state, right?
Yes.
There's no explanation required.
Just
but describe, yes. So you see, for the first answer, definitely for this one, get 0 mark because they didn't ask you to state. They asked you to describe how water is obtained. So I just run through this quickly. Yeah, they have to give relevant detail, no explanation required.
Yep.
So this is a suggested answer, which you can read up, or you can revisit the video, or you can buy my book to study in detail. Yeah, due to the time constraint, I just quickly go to this slide. Okay, next, this one very interesting. This one depends on the situation. Okay, I purposely give this example to show parents if your child use the correct concept but in the wrong situation, correct scientific concept in the wrong situation, the answer is 0. So can you see in this situation, because the syringe is only pushing once, 50 ml air go inside the remaining 100 ml of space. Because water cannot be compressed, it's a definite volume. So the beaker is 300 minus 200 is 100. But you only press in one time, the 50 ml of air, right? So it doesn't need to be compressed. So this student get wrong. But technically, air can be compressed is a scientific fact. So used in wrong situation. Can you see? So this one very important. So it is a wrong application of a scientific fact.
So application has always been a big issue among a lot of students. Yeah, they cannot apply and they cannot use the right context. And that's why they lose marks in this.
Right. So we need to importantly train them to read the questions carefully, apply the right scientific concepts in the right situation.
Yes.
So now if I change the situation slightly different, instead of one time, I push 4 times. So 4 times 50 is 200, right? 200 you need to squeeze into 100 ml of space, then the answer will be correct. Air can be compressed.
So same question but different
different situation. Yeah, different application. Right.
So do note.
Yes. And this question also I'd like to highlight. This one is quite common, so I ask students to do it at home. Open the freezer, let them experience because science is about experience. The more experience they can get, right, they can actually internalize the answer. So I ask students go home and try. Open the fridge, see the mist coming out. Right. So this one, the concept is the water vapor with higher temperature. Okay, in the past, examiner may allow the use of the word air. But now they don't. They need to be more specific. So they need to use the word water vapor with higher temperature from the surrounding, loses heat to the air with the lower temperature from the freezer, condense to form tiny water droplets which appear as a white clouds.
It has to be very specific as well. The words.
So I also train students don't use those non-scientific words like warmer or cooler. Because the scientific word is actually higher temperature or lower temperature.
Yep.
Yes.
It's to be very clear. The communication skill has to be very clear.
Yeah.
It's not like comprehension, We have to be given scientific facts and explain properly.
Yeah. So here's another example of using graphs. They need to decipher what the graph means and then write down the answers. So if no relationship is given, is 0 mark. Yeah, because they ask them what is the relationship between. Okay, this one is the right concept is heat gain, heat loss. Some students they write the wrong one. They'll write coldness escape or coldness loss. So that's a wrong concept. Yeah.
Right.
So the right concept is not about heat loss or heat gain. Okay, I want to use this example to show parents. Actually, it's a Section A questions you can also use to train your student or your child to develop into Section B answering. So this is Section A questions, which I ask student one more step. Explain why this phenomenon happened. Okay? Because the lime water in B, right, turns more chalky, so in test tube B, than the lime water in A. So I ask them why.
Explain.
Give reason. Yeah. So we can use Section A questions to develop into Section B thinking skill. Yes. Okay, so the reason is because, as you can see here, right, because the person blow through here, tube X. So can you follow tube X? You see it goes inside here. So the exhale air is actually interacting with the lime water. But on the other side, we blow here, the exhale air is only above the surface. So that's the reason. Yeah. So similarly here, this is also a very good questions, higher thinking skill, teaching student about this concept, this scientific concept about air can be compressed. So if you compress more air, right, within this space, because they say if they empty the water, so both sides 200 capacity, but in P, right, container P, they pump in more air. They pump in 300 cm cube. Container Q is 100. So we know that air doesn't have a definite volume, it will occupy the space. But however, because the air is more compressed, right, so it will result in greater mass. So this question is a very good question under the topic of matter.
Great. Okay. Connecting textbook knowledge.
Yeah. So if you remember this haze, right, that has commonly visited us almost annually. So I use this example of satellite map to teach students. Can you see this part? The haze covering part of Indonesia and is coming to Singapore.
Yes.
So I use real life example to teach students about air pollution. Yeah. And then this one more recent.
Wow.
ART
COVID-19.
Yes. Yeah. So I ask them to give example. Yeah, because you know, even as adults, we only do it one time, right?
Correct.
So I asked the student, hey, what happens if positive? Positive, if I'm the person testing, I think I better buy another packet to get the average result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like what you're trying to do is using what is the interesting or what is around us to actually interest the students. Yeah.
Interest the student. They can also go back and teach the parent, hey, Papa, Mama, we cannot do one time.
Must do 2 times. Very expensive, they say.
Actually, minimum is 3 times. Under scientific
scientific
concept, minimum 3 times.
More reliable.
So if you do 2, right, 1 positive, 1 negative, don't know.
Then must do the 3rd time.
Yeah. So I also teach them about this is a generating possibility. Suggest 2 reasons. Because there are situations where people do this ART test, right? Is positive. Then subsequently they do the PCR test is negative. So I ask you, hey, what are the possible reasons for this? This under the MOE, generating possibility. Yeah, higher order thinking skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've shared about my 5 M's already. Yeah.
Right. So this is a screen for
This is a parent's remark of how I help a child.
Yeah. So there's a huge improvement.
Yes. From 55 to 83.
Hmm.
So actually, this child came for my 1 day's training. When she didn't do well for SA1, the parents sent her together with actually 10 other students. Okay, they are actually 11 students. They are all from the same school.
Yeah.
So these were the SA1 result. Then they came for my June holiday training for 1 day. I told them to memorize the thing. You must memorize this. So after that, I think all the parents text me. They are very happy. They make significant improvement. So the girl that improved the most is 51.8%.
Wow,
So she
awesome
received the drone.
results.
I give her a prize.
Awesome. Yeah. It's great. So that's why we are here to actually share what's so special about your power class, maybe to have this kind of results. Maybe you can share with us.
Okay. So basically, over the years, I've developed strategies, systematic way to help students. You can actually get this book, but if you join my training, it's included in the price, in the fees. So I promise parents, if they use my book for 12 hours, right, they can master all the skills for answering OEQ. So these 12 hours is ideally they spread it over 6 days. So each day, they spend 2 hours in grasping the concept and principle, and then inside there are full solutions given. So for those parents who are able to come for the training, I highly encourage them to come for the training rather than just buy the book and do self-reading. Because children, as children, they need people to motivate them. Yeah, very few students will be very self-disciplined and,
Yes, I agree.
read through the whole book.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's a steal at this price, So yeah, parents really, if you go for the course, or if you really cannot go, you buy the book. Yeah, I also have the book. Yeah.
Thank you for your support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, this training I scheduled on the 7th and 10th September. I spaced it out because I need time for the student to memorize the thing and to test them on the second day. So basically, day 1, I will go through all the concepts from P3 to P6. And then day 2 on Friday, I would go through difficult questions, which I'll be compiling from this year's prelim exam questions, together with my own questions, to give them more exposure to those higher thinking skills in section B answering. So my target is to help students to achieve AL1 and AL2 before the PSLE exam. Yeah.
So it's for primary 6 students only.
Actually, some parents, they a bit kiasu. P5 they also join.
So it's for both primary 5 and primary 6.
Primary 5 and primary 6. So P5 join, they actually learn something in advance.
Yeah, sure.
So these are the details of the training. Consider a mass lecture kind of training. So I need to let parents know. Basically, I'll be the person doing the talking. There will be very minimum interaction because by this time they should know all the concepts. So I will go through the questions with them with the full solutions. So the lessons, I have done this over the past years. This is my 5th or 6th years conducting.
Okay.
So don't worry, it's not like continuous, very stressful. Those who students come for my lesson, they find, hey, Mr. Yu, how come so far finish your class?
Okay, yeah.
Because I space it with enough interval, and there's a 55-minute lunch break where they need to shut down the computer to rest, let the computer rest. They rest, the computer also need to rest.
The eyes need to rest as well.
Yeah, also I need to rest, Yeah,
it's limited, I think Mr. Yu wants the class to have a limited number so he can conduct a more efficient class. So please go and book right now, so that you will not be disappointed. Yeah. So primary 5 or primary 6.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we are on live. So is there any questions that you all have? You all can ask in the comments, then we will see what is the question that you have. So just now I've seen that at least about 15 parents came in. Yeah. And now we have about 11. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah, we can stop share a while. Yeah. So I'm also going to share all our, just now I start with here, and I'm going to share my, okay, I can see that. Okay, so this is my link, right, to my free webinar, for parents who not only want to score A1 in your science, but other subjects as well, and you could be finding a solution, right? how to optimize the learning and optimize your tuition as well. So come to the webinar. So take a snapshot of this link. I also put the link in my comment later, right? And for today, right, there is this masterclass that I'm going to give away to parents, and this is the link for you to register and how to have the right mindset, motivation, and methods to score in exams. Because now we are all in a lot of tests is coming, right, this week and next week, and then later on will be the final exams, right? So yeah, we register for this, and there's only limited to only a few parents, right, for tonight. Okay, so that's all for today. And I'm so thankful for Mr. Yu for spending this precious time with everyone, and everyone can actually benefit from these strategies. Okay, so yeah, look out for the comments, and yeah, you can replay the whole video again. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Yu, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.